The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher.
As we all brace for potential floods, preparations for accelerated snowmelt are already underway at Isabella Lake, the Kern River Oil Field, and throughout Kern County. But officials say residents should also know their own risk and how to stay safe. 17's Maddie Gannon has more.
As we await possible floods, officials are urging preparation, encouraging residents to know their risks.
A lot of individuals think that FEMA will come in and provide money that's going to make them whole again. And the FEMA funding for a declared disaster is basically to help you get on your feet.
FEMA Public Affairs Representative Frank Mansell adds, not all floods even receive a federal declaration, leaving residents to recover on their own, with Mansell stressing just how much damage water can do.
1 inch of water in your home will cause $25,000 damage. If your home is flooded, you will see things like live wires, broken gas mains. You could have reptiles that are dangerous still living there.
Mansell stresses that financial and physical danger from floods also comes when you take the road.
It only takes 6 inches of water to float a car and send your car downstream with you in it.
Bakersfield CHP Public Information Officer Tomas Martinez and Auto Club of Southern California spokesman Doug Shoup add flooded water can be hiding dangerous debris or potholes.
We don't realize what's underneath that flooded roadway, and people need to understand that only 6 inches of any being in flooded roadway can actually start stalling your vehicle and keeping you from actually continuing on your way.
Shoup says that can cause expensive car damage.
6 inches of water is also enough to hit the bottom of your vehicle, passenger cars in particularly, and that would flood the exhaust and cause your vehicle to stall right there in the middle of the water. We know that vehicles that become flooded often have to have very costly repairs.
That was Maddie Gannon reporting. Officials say people should take pictures of important documents and then upload them to a cloud service just in case those documents get damaged. Bakersfield Congressman and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy released a statement on the main dam. It reads in part, "I have spoken with U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Colonel Chad Caldwell about Lake Isabella, and he has assured me that any issues at the power plant pose no risk to the main dam, which remains safe and operational." Meantime, the dramatic reduction in river flows offered a grim yet hopeful opportunity for search and rescue volunteers to find the body of a missing man. A pickup truck driven by Paul Quinn veered off Highway 178 last month and crashed into the Kern River. The truck was recovered, but Quinn's body has never been found. Family members waited patiently with the rescue team for water levels to drop yesterday. However, the sheriff's office says rescue teams did not recover any bodies during that search.
A dirt biker was knocked unconscious after crashing with a car last night. It happened on Eucalyptus Drive in East Bakersfield. CHP says at one point the dirt bike caught fire. A bystander helped put out the flames with a fire extinguisher. The dirt biker was unresponsive at the scene and taken to the hospital. No word yet on the person's condition.
Downtown Bakersfield was packed with families and friends of people who have been victims to violent crime. This is the Crime Victims March in Bakersfield last night. It is part of the National Crime Victims' Rights Week. There was a lot of emotion and energy from people at the event, organized by the county's DA's office. The faces of those killed were put on signs and t-shirts, just as a reminder to the community of those we've lost to violent crime. This year, the main focus of the event was on parents impacted by child homicides.
We've been out here, and just to keep her name alive, I always say long live Maya, because she was our princess, and we miss her. So we come out here, and we'll come out here until they stop doing this. We'll keep coming because we want her name to still be alive.
A significant development in the special counsel's probe into former President Trump's effort to overturn the 2020 election and his role in the January 6th riot at the Capitol. Former Vice President Mike Pence testified before the special counsel's grand jury. Pence is weighing a possible 2024 presidential run. NBC's Bree Jackson is in Washington with the latest on the presidential drama.
A dramatic development in the investigation into attempts to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Former Vice President Mike Pence testifying against his old boss, former President Trump. Pence allies say he has nothing to hide.
He was pretty explicit in his book and wrote about it pretty extensively, and so there really shouldn't be any secrets there for people anxious to know what it is he would testify.
Trump, who is running for president again, responded to the news.
Mr. President, what do you think of Mike Pence testifying today?
Oh, I don't know what he said, but I have a lot of confidence in him.
This comes as Pence weighs a run for the White House. Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley already declared her candidacy.
If you vote for Joe Biden, you really are counting on a President Harris, because the idea that he would make it until 86 years old is not something that I think is likely.
President Biden unveiled his bid for re-election Tuesday and is focusing on issues.
Look, let's protect our children from gun violence, keep lowering the prescription drug cost, let's protect Social Security and Medicare.
Potential voters are bracing themselves for the political battles ahead.
It's way too soon for that. It seems like we just came out of the last one.
If it's a rematch with Trump and Biden, that just confirms that we're living in a dystopian hellscape nightmare that I cannot escape from. It's kind of like Groundhog's Day, except not funny.
The race for the White House is already heating up. And today, President Biden holds an event with top Democratic donors. Back in 2020, the Biden campaign shattered fundraising records, becoming the first to raise $1 billion. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
17 Court Watch this morning. A Bakersfield man who claimed to be under the control of evil spirits when he stabbed his father to death has been sentenced to 11 years in prison. Daniel Schultz Alvarez pleaded no contest last month to voluntary manslaughter in the death of his elderly father. It happened last summer at their shared apartment on South Real Road. Schultz Alvarez told police he was carrying 2 knives and was about to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches when he tripped and fell, stabbing his father in the leg and stomach. Later, he told investigators he's schizophrenic.
After more than a decade searching for answers, a mother and father confronted the man who sexually assaulted their 6-year-old son. Back in 2007, the boy told his parents that a man parked in front of their Bakersfield home led him into a backyard and then sexually assaulted him. Police canvassed the area but could not find the abuser, and some doubted the boy's tale. But his parents remained steadfast that he was telling the truth. And then the father discovered evidence that ultimately proved crucial to solving this case. The father noticed wet rocks in a gravel area, which ended up testing positive for semen. The DNA sample was entered into the FBI's database, but it wasn't until 2021, that's 14 years later, that police received a hit on the evidence. Paul Strategos accepted a plea deal for the boy's assault just last month. The parents and their son, now an adult, wrote victim impact statements telling the court about the harm he's caused their lives. The father called Strategos a coward and said he is sure his son is not the only child Strategos has preyed upon. Strategos is set to be sentenced next month.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.